I have deep compassion for clinical depression, but when it comes to the quarterback of an NFL team, you know this as well as better than I do. It's the ultimate leadership position in sports.
This is FS1's Skip Bayless.
All the times where she would have to spend probably 10 plus hours throwing up this and that.
And the Dallas Cowboys is Dak Prescott.
You are commanding an entire franchise, and they're all looking to you to be their CEO, to be in charge of the football team.
All throughout this quarantine and this offseason, I started experiencing emotions I've never felt before. Anxiety for the main one. And then, honestly, a couple of days before my brother passed, I would say I started experiencing depression. Didn't know necessarily what I was going through, to say the least.
Because of all that, I don't have sympathy for him going public with, I got depressed. I suffered depression early in COVID to the point that I couldn't even go work out. Look, he's the quarterback of America's team.
Beyond tone deaf, beyond repair.
Skip comes from a place where he's only leading himself because he's a very individual business. To listen to opinion of someone who the last time they put on uniforms when they went to Halloween and trick-or-treating, like you don't understand what it takes. So I applaud Dak Prescott.
And former New York Giant Michael Strahan knows it. Skip Bayless is the kind of guy who will say or do anything, even if you are at your lowest point, and not apologize for his indecent remarks and lambastic, twisting the knife style comments. He attacked Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, and more importantly, a family man. In 2013, when Prescott was at Mississippi State, his mother, Peggy, died of colon cancer. Peggy raised Dak and his 4 siblings as a single mom. He loved his mother dearly, still does, and says it's been difficult having to wake up every day knowing she is gone. Tragedy then struck the Prescott family again.
Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott's older brother Jace died.
Jace Prescott.
Dak, that touchdown. How do you do it?
People say talent runs in the family.
Who you likely saw in Dax Campbell's Chunky Soup commercials. Dak revealed to Graham Bensinger that Jace took his own life. I'll never get another hug in my life like the ones he gave, Prescott told Graham. Dak believes his mother's passing in 2013 took an indescribable toll on Jace as he took care of Peggy while Dak became a star on the football field. Jace saw Peggy every day, the medication, the constant throwing up, the decline. And almost, he says, you can't even put into the words the burden. It's something only Jace knew, and he didn't necessarily share it. And Jace was never really much of a talker, so when something like that was a huge burden on him, he didn't know how to share it. It's crazy. All throughout this quarantine and this offseason, I started experiencing emotions I've never felt before, Prescott said. Anxiety for the main one. And then honestly, a couple days before my brother passed, I would say I started experiencing depression. I didn't necessarily know what I was going through, to say the least, and hadn't been sleeping at all. He spoke honestly. He spoke truthfully. He told ESPN he spoke with current and former teammates. He got help from a sports psychologist with the New York Yankees that had been around the Cowboys when Jason Garrett was coach. Mental health is a huge issue, and it's a real thing in our world right now, he said. I think it's huge to talk. I think it's huge to get help, and it saves lives. Skip Bayless is the kind of guy to write things, say, of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like, why does he feel that because he's 7'2" and black, that the world owes him any more than it does you or me? A definite proclamation of an all lives matter guy. Almost always, he has looked down on reporters the way he says whites have looked down on blacks. He even printed the N-word in his column when quoting a passage from Kareem's book, not once, but twice. Perhaps this is naive, Bayless wrote, but I'll bet you a Mercedes that millions of whites would switch places with him now. That's who Skip Bayless is, and that's who he's always been.